What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady. This story is called Accidentally Impersonated a Police Officer. So, a while back, I was coming home from a Halloween party. I'd gone in a police officer costume, for no other reason other than they let me keep the costume when I played a police officer in a safety video at work, so I didn't have to spend any money to go to the party. Plus, it was very high quality, convincing, and realistic. A network TV show had donated some old costumes since we do a lot of charity work with kids. I'd had a few too many, and by the time I'd left the party, I couldn't really tell you what I was dressed as, or where I was coming from, or where I was headed. I was just on autopilot, stumbling back to the bus stop to home. As I was making my way, someone seemed like they were flagging me down. They were yelling,
"Hurry, hurry! There's a couple fighting and I think she's about to stab him! You have to come quick!"
Still on autopilot, I ambled over in their direction. Not in any big rush. The girl was really floored and kept yelling at me, and I'll be damned, there was a fight going on. I wanted to say to the person who'd flagged me down, "How considerate of you to clue me into this awesome fight so I can watch." But I wasn't feeling articulate enough, so I just kinda gave a thumbs up and watched the two people screaming at each other. It was a young man who looked as though he'd just been woken up and come down from his apartment, and a woman who was dressed for the clubs but looked a mess. They were screaming at each other, and she kept shoving him and making threats like,
"It was always $50. Are you really gonna let me frick you up over $50?
While the guy just kept saying, "I'm not gonna argue with you, I'm not." It seemed like people were looking at me, but I didn't have the slightest idea why. Finally, the person who flagged me down said,
"Well, are you gonna do something?"
I was baffled, a bit flattered, but also confused. I was trying to make sense of the situation. Was I somehow involved in this altercation? Did I know these people? Did I cause this fight? But it was clear everyone expected something of me, so I decided the best course was to fake it until I made it. I charged over with fake authority, trying to place the face of either the person in the argument. Can't remember exactly what I said, but I'm told it was along the lines of, Hey guys, chill. What's the matter? What's happening? Let's just talk." As I got closer, I saw the woman was holding her car key between her fingers and jabbing it out like she planned to stab the man with it. I just giggled and said, "Okay, first of all, that will work. Haven't you seen Worldstar? Man, how are you letting her back you up with a car key? Come on, she couldn't open a can with those." I don't know the first thing about physical altercations. Sober me wouldn't be the slightest bit emboldened by the street fighting videos I watch at 3 a.m., but apparently drunk me felt qualified to proffer advice. There was a moment of stunned silence as the bystanders wondered how I could be so ineffective, and the arguing people wondered whether or not I was going to arrest them. When it became clear I was as clueless as they were, the arguing continued. Someone in the crowd said, "What? Did you hear that?" And someone else suggested, "We should call some other police, like 911. I was thinking, what? Yeah, of course. I can't believe no one's called the police yet. It's really getting out of hand. Good idea, maybe I should call." But I got distracted by the guy going, "I paid you what you're owed. You can't go changing the price." And the girl was shrieking,
"Don't bullcut me, Brian!"
as she got closer and closer to him, and he had to dodge her crazy key hands. So I'm just slack-jawed watching them again along with everyone else when someone finally says,
"Stop him! She's gonna hurt him!"
while looking directly at me. I wasn't sure why everyone seemed to want me to stop them, thinking to myself, or what do you guys could do something? You were here before me. But I figured I must be involved somehow and not understand why, because everyone kept addressing me directly. Maybe I owed someone money? Maybe I chatted with one of them at the party? In any case, I was like, I've got to hang out with these people more often. They got a lot more trust and respect for me than my other friends. I was feeling good from all this attention and everyone expecting me to be able to handle things. Finally, I mustered up the most authoritative voice I could and yelled, "Cut it out with the key! I told you already, that will not work. I had everyone quiet again, so that was a step forward. Now, what exactly is the problem going on here? I asked. They started to explain, but they were talking at once, and nothing they said gave me any better understanding as to how I was involved. So finally, I just was like, how do you two know each other? And the guy said, we're friends. We're good friends. She's just a little overreacting right now. In hindsight, the guy probably had some drugs on him or some other reason to want the cops, or in my case, people dressed as cops, to go away, because he seemed terrified even as he was saying it was all fine. As best I could piece together, stopping the fight would make everyone happy. So I thought back to how my mom would break up an argument and implored them. Come on, guys. Friends shouldn't be arguing this way. Let's go. Wherever it is, we're gonna set it aside. We're gonna sleep on it. Until then, I want you to hug it out. Come on. And I started ushering them into one another. I guess the girl didn't really want to deal with the people dressed as cops either, because though she begrudgingly put her keys down, she didn't go in for the hug. So rowdy drunk me was like, come on, hug. Anything can happen. Life's short. You could be dead tomorrow. This poor girl thought the police were threatening to kill her if she didn't comply with an order to hug it out. They hugged, and then I was like, all right, where are you guys from? And the guy was like, I'm staying here at this building. And I was like, okay, you can go home. You two need to cool off. And tomorrow maybe we will have forgotten about this whole thing. You two, go somewhere else, I said to the girl, vaguely gesturing away from the building. She started to say something about her $50, but I was tired and ready to go home, so I was like, now, you can pick us up again tomorrow. You too, man. Go inside, get some sleep. It's late. You could hear the crowd whispering in confused awe as I watched the girl leave and watched the guy go inside, just yelling over them if they tried to start up again until they'd both cleared out, and then stumbling off myself. Then I went home, showered, passed out, and barely even remembered any of it the next day. Just vaguely remembered talking to some people arguing on my way home. About a week later, I went to this friend's house again, and someone was there who had apparently been in the crowd. They were like, oh my goodness, you're the cop who broke up that fight in front of my building. Between you and me, I promise I'll keep it on the low, but were you drunk on the job? You seem trashed. Were you off duty or? I told her I had no idea what she was talking about. Closest I'd ever been to a street fight was watching World Star. She was like, yeah, you talked about watching World Star. So, did you make them hug just to mess with them? Or is that like an actual thing they really teach police to do to de-escalate things? That got my attention, because what were the odds of someone who looked like me being in this area talking about World Star? And I did remember the people I talked to hugging, so I asked her to elaborate, and as she recounted the events, the whole thing started coming back to me. I was like, hey, yeah, that was me, and laughed, focused more on the breaking up a fight part and not really registering the cop part. So my confused buddy was like, don't pull her leg like that, come on. They wouldn't let you be a cop on your best day. And I had to think about that one for a second, because he was absolutely right. Finally, I put the pieces together and sheepishly explained the mix-up. We all had a good laugh over it, and I learned never to drink while dressed as someone it's illegal to impersonate, even accidentally, because you never know what could happen. That's a really cool story to have. Ironically, that'd be a good story to tell at a party. Man, being drunk is wild. Not that I would know anything. Actually, no, I'm 21. I can say stuff. This story's called Every Day We Wear Black. Every day we wear black. Every day we wear black. I don't know. As a lifetime service industry employee, it's pretty typical to wear black as a uniform. Black blouse, black slacks or jeans, black dresses, and black shoes. As a makeup artist for Paul Mitchell, we must also wear black as a uniform for well, uniformity, but also to not cast colors onto anything or anyone being worked on, especially on a set. Working in a Medi spa meant scrubs, and much to my utter shock and surprise, they too were black. I bet you could see where this might be going. I wear black practically every day from head to toe, but trendily or fashionably as to look less emo and goth and more stylish, or possibly a very angsty witch. Thank American Horror Story Coven. So there I was, elbows deep in a cart full of colorful clothes, spiraling deeply into an abyss of color possibilities. Blue goes with black, white goes with black, red goes with black. I'm 6'3", so I have to try everything on, and I'm near the dressing room about to try on my first haul when I get yelled at.
Excuse me?
Some crotchety old voice says to nobody in particular.
Excuse me? Could you put that down and open a register?
I hope someone helps her. Her voice is grating.
Excuse me? You need it over here.
I look up from my rainbow clothing vomit, spilling out of my tiny cart to see several women looking at me, then back at the woman talking. Surely she's not talking to me.
I can't believe she just ignored me. Excuse me, are you deaf? Open a register. The line is too long.
Surely she does mean me, and I can't believe she talked to an employee like that. Wait, yes I can. I look back up, and an actual employee asks me if I need anything, probably wondering why this woman is demanding I open a register, like I have some kind of superpower that gives me permission to do whatever I want. I think that woman thinks I work here, I tell the employee.
I know. I've been watching her get mad from behind the fitting room. I can't open a register unless the manager asks us to. There's only 3 of us today, so I doubt she'll do that.
The woman yelling sees us talking and gets pissed. She storms over and, being about 5'4", picks the short staffer to assault.
I've been waiting in line for 20 minutes.
Actually, like 5.
Telling your staff to open a register, and she's just been ignoring me. I want to speak to your manager.
Finally, the employee breaks down and says,
Ma'am, she doesn't work here. I don't know what gave you that impression since she's not wearing a lanyard or anything with our logo on it. She doesn't have the authority to open a register as she's not employed here.
I joke and say, every POS system is the same. Horrible! To which screamy Karen loses her crap and says,
I'm telling your manager you called me a piece of shit. You're gonna lose your job.
The employee is about to laugh, but obviously trying not to, and instead has a huge smile and says,
Ma'am, hello? Hi, she doesn't work here. A POS is a point of sale, which is what we call a register. You don't even work here? Why are you dressed like that? Why didn't you say so?
Because that isn't my job either. She lost her place in line, had to wait longer. I tried on my cart of clothes and found many things that go with black. This isn't the first or last time I've been accused of being an employee somewhere, but definitely one of the more fun, less scary incidents. I typically get mistaken for management or a cop. Ha ha ha! It's astonishing how Karens are so demanding to people they don't even freaking know. Oy. This story, Reno, is called A Karen for Christmas. While I was in college, I worked at a craft and home decor store. It was a Sunday in early November, so the Christmas stuff was out making things even crazier. I was supposed to clock out at 3 p.m. I didn't end up clocking out until about 3:15 because we were so busy, and then stayed with my friend during her lunch break to talk. So when I finally left the break room, it was about 3:50. The break room was in the back of the store, and to get to the exit, you had to go through the Christmas tree section, Hell's Forest, and the registers. I had just made it to Hell's Forest when a middle-aged woman turned to me.
I need you to help me get this Christmas tree from the back. I can't find it anywhere.
At first, I didn't realize she was speaking to me because I was carrying all of my crap and a heavy winter coat. Then I remembered I just so happened to wear a company t-shirt that day, so I couldn't just pretend I didn't work there like how I was trained to act when I was stopped before or after a shift. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but I'm actually off the clock right now. I was about to direct her to the nearest working attendant. She stopped me.
What? How dare you talk to me like that? Psh! Off the clock? What kind of excuse is that?
She stormed off, and everyone around just looked at her with confusion. I shrugged it off and continued to the exit. I finally make it up to the registers when Karen shows up out of nowhere and demands that Sadie, my coworker who was at the register with a very long line, help her get a tree.
Ma'am, we keep that size of tree at the register because it's so big and too heavy to carry from the back, so you can just get in line and we'll ring you up.
Karen was pleased until she saw me leaving. She points at me directly and screams,
She was so rude. She said she was off the clock. Can you believe that?
Karen runs off again, and Sadie, the customers, and I all stare at her.
Sorry, she's no longer working?
We all have a laugh and I leave. That Friday, I was working the night shift. We had closed the store and we were about to leave when my manager realized she forgot to build a drive aisle. I had to stay an extra hour and a half to help her. I was pissed off, but we started to share funny customer stories to pass the time. I brought up Karen and her tree.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to get on you about that.
What do you mean?
Well, after you left, she came to me and I double-checked our rule book and it says you have to help the customer no matter what.
But I was clocked out for almost an hour, so I couldn't.
No, you should have helped her and then write in the time on the timesheet.
But what if it's like my day off and I'm shopping?
You still gotta do it.
The next day, I called in 40 minutes before my shift and quit. Okay, while I understand the reasoning for quitting, such short notice is not very nice because now they're gonna be scrambling to find someone to cover for you, and I don't know, it's just not nice to give such short notice, but that is ridiculous though. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.